Yo, anybody hear me? Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CoreXReplay podcast, episode 2. That's right, I am back, and we are going to get into this Nintendo news. It has been a crazy week, y'all, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to get into it. We do have some guests that are going to be joining us, hopefully, during the stream. So in the meantime, I figured that while we wait on the guests, maybe I could do a reaction to this Metroid Prime 4 Treehouse gameplay. I have not seen this yet. I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't really focused on the gameplay to see what exactly we're getting as far as the graphical updates, the gameplay mechanics, and all of that good stuff. So let's get into it, y'all. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, share it with your friends, and we're going to get into it. All right, so here we go. Metroid Prime Beyond, Treehouse.
For those that are just tuning in, this is Nintendo Treehouse Live, Nintendo Switch 2. My name is Teresa, and I'm joined here with Demetrius and Dutch. And we're here
All right, we're going to skip ahead here, guys.
For this.
No, you got church facility.
All right, so I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm just going to scrub through this and just try to get a little bit of the shots here. So let's see. See if I could do it this way. All right, it is Cosmic Year 20X9. 20X9. They running by Mega Man dates now. Determined to defeat Samus and the Galactic Federation, Silex and his army of space pirates launched a series of attacks on Federation research facilities. All right. So this is following Metroid Prime 3, obviously, with Silex and the story with him. I never played Federation Force, but there is a cutscene at the end where he's stealing a Metroid from the Federation facility. So obviously this is picking up from that. It is believed the space pirates are being controlled by Metroids that have the ability to fuse with other life forms and control. Oh, snap. They can fuse with other life forms? Let's see. Now on planet Tamuga in the Desolate system, another Federation research facility is being attacked. Galactic Federation HQ received their distress call and dispatched Samus, who was on a what is that? Is that a reconnaissance? Is that reconnaissance? Reconnaissance mission nearby. All right. Now I wonder, is that mission related to another game in the series? Because one thing we don't really have clear info on is where does this fall in the timeline? We know it falls after Prime 3, but Prime in general is probably, don't quote me on this, I think it's before Super Metroid. So because Metroids are still around, and after Super Metroid, all the Metroids were basically, wiped out. So I wonder what game is this referring to, or if it's just a whatever point.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just, can I play a little bit of this? I'm just skip through it. Okay, opening cutscene. Okay, I seen a little bit of this. Dope stuff. You flying like Star Fox right now. Look at her. Stunning on him. Man. I really didn't like that the redesign of the gunship at first when I first played Prime 3, but it definitely grew on me really quick. It's looking like Halo or something. Hold up. Titanfall? Oh, this cinematic this time around, y'all. Somebody always getting attacked, man. Here comes Samus to save the day. All right, we seen this. All right, she gonna jump out. Lands. All right. Looking around. Dog, this looking cold, man. Got the raindrops on the visor on the cannon. All right, missile action. I do miss that little mechanism that spread it out with the Metro Prime 1 whenever you shoot the missiles. I do miss that a little bit. What are these pirates looking for? They came out of nowhere. All right. Okay, they're using the Joy-Cons. Looking around. Sam is famous. I gotta hear this, y'all.
Graphics.
We need immediate. Samus, you made it. Command needs you to secure a sensitive artifact. Uploading coordinates now.
So right.
They're looking way better than Prime 2. Updated designs. Obviously. Let's see.
Make sure that the space pirates don't take it. All right.
Got the classic jingle. Map looking nice. Same as what we used to. Special effects on the glass. Okay, she's scanning. Full access, Federation facilities granted. Scanning boxes. Okay, I gotta get some of this.
Way to get additional backstory, lore, also just helpful gameplay tips, and even access to certain areas.
Oops. Press the wrong button, y'all. Hold on. Oh, I went way too far. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where am I? Hold up. Let's backtrack.
It's a beautiful show.
Okay, let's see. Where was I? Is that right here? About right here? Yep. Come on, Samus. I know you'll aim better than that. Oh, they got melee attacks. Good old Prime gameplay, y'all. Got some AoE damage. My heart is beating so fast. Who said that? Hold on, what they say? Hold on. A cone-shaped chassis and thrusters enable direct insertion into fortified positions while landing aspects are migrated via energy conservation punt opening. I have no idea what that means. Dude, I can't wait to get my hands on this, y'all. Morph ball. Oh, the transition. Man, they kind of went lazy on the transitions. Dude, look how big that mech is. I didn't know it was that big. Or is that a different one? Uh-oh, bye-bye. Yo. You could tell some of the Halo developers was on this game. How you just gonna stand right in front of them like that? Uh-oh, these elites? Man, it's crazy. So he's using the mouse controls, and he has the Joy-Con on the table. Okay. And I remember he said right here in this part that he transitioned from mouse controls to button controls. Let me hear the explanation real quick.
Actually, now back to playing in the normal split Joy-Con mode. And I'll once again put my hand back down on the surface. You see that little reticule pop up. You can see how fast I turn.
Yeah, the
That's dope, man. Cause I thought that you would have to go into the settings each time you want to switch controls like normal. You know, you would want to switch to mouse controls or switch to controllers. So on the fly like that, man, that's a game changer. That would get a lot more people into even just trying it out to begin with, because there's very little rigmarole around it.
little tiny one in the middle.
So I'll keep playing like this.
Yeah, so you can just switch that on the fly. All you have to do to activate the mouse controls is
Okay,
just
this
put
is
the
seen
mouse,
from the first
put
trailer.
the Joy-Con 2 flat on that surface.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's that, Hellfire? What they say?
Put the Joy-Con 2 flat on that surface.
Light combat and transport fighters for
Yeah.
deploying dive something.
This guy, I think he's pretty low on health, so it'll tell me even in.
Show him mercy. Internal organ failure. And he just hit him with a missile. Bogus. Duck cover grill. Love these morph ball sections. They let them drop pods, man. I tell you that. Oh, he just got clapped. Now, how they didn't hear that? They should have heard that explosion from that bomb up there. Okay. All right.
Coming up
this looking
is
so
gonna be my first
good, man.
collectible here. It's gonna be my energy tank. Gonna require that.
Good old energy tank.
Have 99 little energy units.
Yeah, that's a good point. So looking at the screen right now, at the top left, we'll have the tracking meter for all of the enemies. On the top right, you'll have the mini-map. On the bottom right, you have your missiles. The total that you can hold is at the bottom. The total that you have in your inventory is at the top. And then on the bottom left is all of your weapons. And right now, all we have are missiles.
So here we're just identifying.
Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Let's get over to here. Let's see. Send this over to Shinizaki really quick. Looks like he want to tune in.
Identifying some unknown materials. If I go over here, I can scan this, scan that.
Energy units.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's a good point. So looking at the screen right now,
It's
at the
nice
top
that the
left, you'll
outline
have
of the
tracking meter
characters
for all
are
of the
colored,
enemies.
too, so
on
that
the
you
top
can
right,
make
you'll have
out
the mini-map.
where exactly
On the
they
bottom
are,
right,
you know what I mean?
have your missiles. The total that you can hold is at the bottom. The total that you have in your inventory is at the top. And then on the bottom left is all of your weapons. And right now, all we have are.
Okay. Universal Object Analyzer identifies and classifies unknown materials, uses both radiation and measurement and micro focus X-ray scans. All right. What's this? Hologram of the Desolate system. Artifact detection. Location marked. Regulate something. Standard Galactic Federation military personnel equipped with a powered, what is that? What is he equipped with? Powered armor and RT 6336 submachine gun. All right. I love scanning, y'all. I'm gonna scan everything in this game. All right, so what he talking about?
Switch to the visor. I'm going to scan this door. And this is a Federation lock-on gate, so it uses...
Okay, this is the section where you gotta calibrate the controls. Typical in the beginning of these games. Okay, so you hold down the button to aim like that. Interesting. You got to do it twice.
Performance mode, which will run at 120.
Oh, that's the wait a minute. That's the logo of the game.
80p.
So you can kind of choose
like
for
a black
yourself if you
hole
wanna
or something.
focus on the resolution and that image quality, or the performance and like the high frame rate.
Smooth, buttery friend.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
mini boss time.
And that image, the high frame rate.
Smooth, buttery friend.
Yeah.
All right, so here's our first boss, Avarax. And you're going to see something that is going to be
Protect the
unique
artifact.
that we haven't really seen before.
Oh no!
Halo vibes. Oh, Metroid.
Oh.
But
Oh, this.
unlike normally a Metroid, you know,
Oh,
normally
he
you
fused,
can
he
enemy right there
fused.
on spot. This one is actually fusing or combining.
This is a new ability for
Covering it up.
Metroids.
That is interesting. I don't
Oh,
think we've
snap.
seen before or it's fusing with
Yeah,
other beings.
so it's fascinating.
Yeah, I just said
I
that.
think you got your work cut out for you here to me.
Yeah.
Yo, it made like 4
Sure.
Metroids in his body or
All
something.
So I'm gonna lock on a little bit here, just get my bearings. So what we're seeing here is there's gonna be a couple of weak spots. Ow! I jumped way too slow there. No, I'm not gonna let him shoot this. I wanted to destroy.
Is
the
he
weak
throwing
points.
bowling balls?
There's gonna be multiple. Oh, you just want to throw them at me, don't you?
So the weak points are those little green areas, but the Avarax can shield it with his arms,
Yeah,
but
it goes in
Avarax.
can
Rax.
also put the
Avarax. Huh. What's up, Z-Tray?
absorb them.
or even missile replenishment. That'll be handy.
Oh,
But as you can see, like, you have to
Try
get
to
the
dodge
angle
it.
right, because shooting missiles, you can see the deflect of the missiles, like, going off.
There we go. There we go. Now it's
Get
going
'em.
to open up the main weak spot here. I'm going to try to get as many
Ew.
shots off as I can. He's going to try to hunt me down with that. Oh, I thought I dodged.
Get him in the belly.
The other key technique there that
I don't think that's
we
the belly,
usually
bruh.
use to dodge that attack is the strafing one, where if you're locked
There we
on,
That's a giant
you
sack.
push the jump button twice, you can kind of strafe to one side or the other laterally to avoid some of those attacks.
There we go.
Or you can get real up close. I don't know if you want to attempt that.
No, it'll try to grab me, so I'm trying not to do that. All right, so
Man,
pretty good shots here coming out. Oh, no, 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 no.
We can see the
pretty
Avarax's
easy
health
boss.
bar
He's
there at the
struggling
top
on this
too,
easy
so
boss, man. Come on now.
it's making some progress, but he's got a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
health
pretty
here.
beefy boy.
Yeah, I got to be very careful here. Oh, really? You're going to block that when I was just about to shoot it? Are you serious, Avarax? Come on now.
All right, let's see. So you can get ahead here. They give you plenty of missiles. Ooh, big wave. Oh, she got the double jump. Double jump from the jump. Oh, I was gonna say you can duck. Throwing bowling balls at her, man. That's crazy. Little B shockwaves. He's taking forever to go down. It's hard mode or something? It's a bullet sponge. Oh, she got that last hit in, though.
That was a tough boss battle.
Yeah.
You really have to gauge where to aim, and you can see it was all about kind of, you know, finely tuned aiming there, which is a lot of fun.
Now artifact safe.
Ooh,
There's the
that
man
roll
himself.
was dope.
And there's Psylocke. You know,
Yeah.
He has 2 Metroid with him.
That
which is
boy
also
made
very
it.
curious.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find out more about this interesting alliance.
You can see the battles going on back and forth.
Ooh,
This is
straight for
artifact.
the artifact.
You best not miss what come up for Samus.
Oh,
so you see the
snap.
artifact now was hit, and it caused it to you know, react to that. In a very peculiar way.
Explosion.
And that's, folks.
Okay. I wonder if Psylocke actually meant to shoot that artifact or if it was just a mistake. That would be a good twist to the game, to the story, if that's the case. Because obviously that transports Samus to the planet that she's on. I think it's called Viros or something like that. Man, the game is looking good, y'all. It's looking better than it was looking the first time we saw it. Obviously, it's because it's the Switch 2. You got better textures, better lighting. Yeah, you got the mouse control. So hey, it is an upgrade, y'all. I was proven wrong. I guess I was proven wrong with this. So that makes my decision very, very tough now. So yeah, that's the Metroid Prime 4 Treehouse. Let's go over some of these topics here about what happened in Nintendo Land and maybe a little bit in the gaming industry. One of the things that was brought out that we thought was actually a thing is that the sticks on the Joy-Cons are not Hall effect sticks. Now, why is this so important? It's important because Hall effect sticks are designed to basically not drift. They're basically to help the controller to last, to have not having stick drift. So this was brought out by Nintendo Life, and they had an interview. They had an interview with Nintendo of America's Nate Billadroff. He outright confirmed the exclusion. He didn't specify whether or not the Pro Controller would include Hall effect sticks, but the way in which he quickly deflects onto another topic probably implies that it won't. He says, or they says, let's jump off the sensitivity stuff then and talk about the stick of the Switch 2 Joy-Con because it feels so different to the original Switch analog stick. So is it a Hall effect stick? Were you inspired by the Hall effect stick? He says, well, the Joy-Con 2's controllers have been designed from the ground up. Interesting. They're not Hall effect sticks, but they feel really good. Really? Did you experience both the Joy-Con and the Pro Controller? They said both. So I like both. But that Pro controller, for some reason, the first time I grabbed it, it was like, I was like, this feels like a GameCube controller. I was a GameCube guy. Something about it felt so familiar, but the sticks on that especially. I tried to spend a lot of time making sure that it was quiet. I don't know if you tried really whacking the stick around, but it really is quiet. I'm thinking back to my Smash Bros days where you just whack it. The Switch 2 Pro controller is one of the quietest controllers I've ever played. Okay. So, hold on one second, guys. What's up, Shinzaki?
Yo, what's going on? I'm in the stream, bro, so I'm just waiting on you to change the cam so that all the audience can see.
All right, sound good. Let me see. Let me see here. I'm gonna switch the cam, y'all, and let's get. Let's see. All right. There we go. We got Shinizaki in the chat, y'all. Say what up to the people, Shinizaki.
Yo, what it is? What it is? I don't know. Can you see me? All
Yep.
my camera and everything, all good.
Yeah, we see you. We see you.
Yo, what's going on, Shinizaki? We here with the CoreXReplay podcast. So
sure,
let's
for
get it
sure.
going. Let's get it going.
Yeah, so we're going over the topics of what happened in the previous week, and we're talking about the Hall effect sticks. Now, Nintendo Life had an interview with Nintendo of America representative, and he basically said that the Joy-Cons don't have the Hall effect stick, but they feel really good.
You know what, dude? I'm not. Let me tell you something, bro. Look. Not having the Hall effect sticks just shows where they cheaped out on the device. Honestly,
Yep.
now. Look, I understand that they want to relive the same hype that they did with the Switch One by saying we're gonna give you a Switch Lite, we're gonna give you a Switch OLED, and all that. But you mean to tell me that the Switch 2's Joy-Cons are still gonna be sub subjected to Joy-Con drift just so that you can make the Switch OLED have Hall effect sticks finally?
It's still gonna drift, my guy. It's still
that's
gonna
that's
drift.
why they are not Hall effect sticks right off the gate, because they want to make the OLED variant and show you that same little animation zooming into the Joy-Con, twirling around to make you think, oh, finally now they actually got Hall effect sticks, and that's gonna make them justify charging you $550 for the Switch 2 OLED.
Yep. Yep.
Like, come on, man, that was just cheap. That was just a cheap move on their part, honestly.
And I mean, he's saying that they're quiet as far as like if you banging it around and it's in a quiet room or whatever, they're quiet, but we don't care about that. We care about the durability. We care about our money is being well spent. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be quiet because you ain't finna be playing it because the joystick's drifting, so you ain't even finna be using it. Of course, it's gonna be quiet, bro. Man, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about, man? Really? We know it's gonna be quiet. 'Cause I ain't playing it.
Basically, yeah,
Like, let's go.
yeah. So this is unfortunate. Now, I do have a alternative for everybody. Now, if you really care about this, there is an alternative that you can do for the Joy-Cons. Is this Pro controller from Walmart? It's cheaper than a Pro controller that Nintendo Switch has, and they have let's see, there's macro buttons on the back. You know what I'm saying? You got the programmable buttons. It comes with a case. And the only downside is it doesn't have that infamous C button.
What brand is that?
This is 8-bit do.
Oh no, 8-bit. It's not. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. It's got Bluetooth. It's wireless.
See, that's what we want. Bluetooth.
It has the rumble, motion controls. It's a long battery life, 22 hours, rechargeable. There's even a charging dock that comes with it. So you can
Can
just
we
put it on the
confirm
dock.
that this controller has Hall effect sticks?
We can't confirm. We can't confirm.
Do we
Actually,
gotta
you know
open
what?
it up?
Actually, you know what? I think it does. I think it does.
They have to, yeah, because 8-bit, I want to say 8-bit duo, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
8-bit do
Or 8
or
bit
whatever.
do or 8 bit do. Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe they do use premium parts or reputable parts for their controllers. They're very reputable controller company, especially for the Nintendo
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah. Yep.
But don't get it twisted though, because this is the one that you want to buy. Is this one that's like $50? Because I've got confused with this version on Amazon with the version that's $39.99, and that one actually just uses a USB dongle. It's not Bluetooth. You have to have the USB dongle hooked up to your PC in order for
Oh.
it to work. So that's why it's $40. So for $10 more, you get the one with Bluetooth. Then you can just wirelessly hook it up to your PC through Bluetooth.
Oh yeah. And I think that's the deal, man. You know,
Hmm
I feel comfortable spending 50, even, you know, $40 to $50 for a controller. Good
hmm
quality, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
All right, so let's get on to the juicy topic of the week. The juiciness,
Let's
man.
get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
So we had quite a bombshell happen. This is from the Washington Post with Doug Bowser. Doug Bowser. You know, it's very ironic that his last name is the same name.
If that ain't the
as-
most hilarious thing ever, bro. Let's get it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it.
All right, so let's talk about Doug Bowser. So everybody's been talking about the price of Mario Kart World, the price of the system itself, the price of just everything. And Doug Bowser comes out of the woodwork and basically tries to justify everything. So he talks about Donkey Kong being 70, right? So then he says this: what you see right there is variable pricing. We'll look at each game, really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the repeatability of gameplay experiences. Those are all factors, and there's many more that go into consideration of what the right price point for the game will be. So I think you can anticipate that there will be variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark. So he says basically that they're going to pick and choose what games are going to be priced based upon what they feel is quality.
Mm-hmm.
So he says here, I think it's less about representing the industry. This is really about Nintendo deciding the right thing to do for its products, or what the pricing should be for its products overall. Even in the previous generation, we had some variability, talking about how Tears of the Kingdom was $70, Breath of the Wild was $60. And then you had some games that were $50, some games that were $60, stuff like that. And he mentions Link's Awakening being 60. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. He says, now I even wonder what is the definition of a console cycle. We'll continue to keep the Nintendo Switch as part of the family, giving consumers a number of different entry points that they can come into the gaming universe. What I would say is that we'll continue to observe consumers and how they engage and enter into the platform at various levels to try and really understand what the future may look like. So here's the other point. We have an install base for the Switch of 150 million plus units. We'll probably announce more on May 8th when we have our next earnings call. We want to keep those players engaged. Not all of them may be ready to jump to Switch 2. Okay? So he says, hopefully with time and with the right games, it'll be compelling for them to want to come on to Switch 2. We know there's a group of consumers that will be absolutely ready on day one to come on the platform. So he says, it was funny when it was announced. My son texted me right away and was like, "What was that?"
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the Dust Blood game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, the Switch portability and dedication to gaming experiences drew millions of players who aren't interested in gaming on smartphones and other general purpose mobile devices. Doug Bowser says, and I quote, they're used for communication, whether it's audio, emails, or other forms of entertainment. They're multi-use. The Nintendo Switch is a device designed for playing video games only, and I think that for people has been very attractive. So, after listening to my terrible reading, what are your thoughts, Shinizaki?
You know what my thoughts are? These are my thoughts, and this is what makes me hot.
Oh man.
Let's not forget that Sony said that they had to fight to get their games to be $70. Do you remember that?
Do.
Sony actually said that they had to fight to get their games at $70 because they felt that their games deserved to be higher than that for the PS5. Okay? Now, this is the article from VGC, and GameSpot also has something to say on it. It says Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan, who at the time, has publicly defended the company's decision to price certain PS5 games at $70. Case in point, price certain PS5 games at $70.
Mm-hmm.
In an interview with Telegraph, Ryan states that he believes that $70 price is fair. But they argued because they wanted to charge their games higher, possibly 80 or 90. But as they discussed it amongst themselves, the other higher ups are saying we can't do that. People aren't going to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim Ryan says, highlighting that the extensive hours of entertainment in games like Demon Souls provide compared to other forms of entertainment. So they're using the game Demon Souls and all the content that game has as a fair price for $70 for that game. Bro,
because of how big the game is.
Because of how big the game is and how much value you're supposedly going to get out of it. So you go on How Long to Beat and it says 230 hours. This game should be $230.
Yikes.
$10 per hour.
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's not forget that Sony tried to do this first. All right. But now you got Doug Bowser out here trying to do the same thing Jim Ryan was talking about. The same thing, talking about well, we need to price our games accordingly because of the hype and demand. And dude, let me tell you something. Nintendo does not spend nowhere near as much time and budget developing their games as all these other companies.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody is going to charge more for the games, it should be PS5 and Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
With, $100 million budgets. Spider-Man 2 had a $330-something million budget, bro. $300 million budget. And the first game had a $55 to a $50 million budget. From Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2. So where in the heck does $250 million go into developing Spider-Man 2? When it's pretty much the same game.
Mm-hmm. Copy and paste. That's all he did.
It's the same game. So honestly, I feel like this is what they're doing. There's something that they're not telling us, bro, because they're trying to justify charging us more money for these games. What they're not telling us is that you can have a budget for a game like $300 million. You can have that. But do you have to spend that much?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to spend that much to make the game? So let's just say that the budget was $300 million. But in order to fully produce the game, it only cost them $150 million. So in essence, they still had about $50 to $100 million left over. Just because the budget was that high doesn't mean you have to spend that much money penny for penny just to meet the budget.
But see, that's
if it takes less money to produce the game, okay, fine.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. It's like they want a profit at the end of the day. They don't want to be breaking even. They don't want to be losing out on money. They know that their software is what gets people to their platform in the first place, their IPs.
Right.
So they want to make a profit, and they're going to put this in front of us as the excuse as to why they want to charge this amount
Thank
for the
you.
games. But it's
There's
like
bro, there's no way.
any developer can say that about their game. Oh, I think my game is valuable, and I think people will really spend a lot of time 100% in it and playing it, replaying it, and getting their money's worth out of it. So I want to charge this amount for it. Like any developer can say that.
Right. If I got a $500,000 budget to buy a house, I don't have to spend every last penny of that loan for the house. I go get a house for $350,000 if it got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a garage and a basement. If it got everything I want, why should I go and spend more money unnecessarily? So that's what I'm saying. There's something that they're not telling us. They want us to think that they're spending $350 million, $330 million for Spider-Man 2, where really, if it's a copy and paste of the old game, it's really only at the max 70, 80 million.
Yeah.
Because the first game was only 50 million. So if anybody's going to charge more, quote unquote, for the games, it should be Sony and not Nintendo.
And I doubt that money is going toward the developers.
Oh heck no!
I think it's going toward the higher ups.
It's going anything. up towards the higher ups. Bonuses at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, sales quota bonuses. That's all it is. So my thing is Nintendo making these Fire Emblem games, making the Breath of the Wild games. These games got to have maybe at the highest a $10 million budget. These games aren't like AAA cinematics and voice acting and all the motion capture.
They definitely don't have voice acting like that.
You know, they don't have none of that stuff. So you can't tell me that it costs Nintendo that much to make these Zelda games, to make Metroid Prime 4. It didn't cost them $100 million to make that game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be kidding me. So why are you charging all of this money for these games and your budget ain't even that high? It's no excuse,
IPs,
bro.
Man, because
no
of their
excuse.
Premium IPs.
Okay, and then let's make the. Can you get 150 hours out of Metroid Prime 4? Can you get 200 hours out of Metroid Prime 4?
If it has multiplayer.
How long to beat right now? Go on how long to beat.
We don't know. We don't know
Come
yet.
on. You know, so it's like there's no reason why y'all need to be charging this much for these games, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I'm not buying it. So Doug Bowser is following the footsteps of Jim Ryan.
Yeah. And they're also going off of how long people play Mario Kart 8. You know, even from the Wii U. Like people played it on the Wii U and then they ported it, the deluxe version, to Switch, and people played the Switch version. It sold they kept selling it, man. Every holiday season, they had the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle. Y'all ain't got no other games of Mario Kart?
That's what I'm saying. And see, that's because they're trying to do what Rockstar did with GTA. Release it on PC, release it here, release it there, release a remaster, release a Ultimate Edition, try to milk every last penny out of those games that they can.
Yeah.
And they know that's the sad thing is that the Nintendo diehards, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to buy it and they're going to pay the price no matter what. They're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, man. So, yeah, that's all I got for this segment. Doug Bowser, he also what's the name of Xbox previous leader? What was his name?
Well, you got Matt Booty and Mark Cerny and one of the other. What's the other guy?
The one that says he's on the tip of my tongue. The one that said, "Oh, if you can't afford an Xbox One, you can buy an Xbox 360."
Yep, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, Doug Bowser basically said the same thing. Okay, you can't get a Switch 2 right now. We have all these other Switch, consoles in the Switch family. You know, you can get the Switch Lite. You can get the regular Switch. You can get the OLED Switch. You can, you know what I'm saying? So, come on, man. You know everybody wants the Switch 2.
Exactly.
Like, quit playing with us, man.
Right. Right. And I feel like that was a sales tactic why they showed us Metroid Prime 4 looking all bogus, just so that we could be like, oh no, there's no way I'm playing it like that. I'm gonna have to play it on the Switch too.
Oh
That's
yeah.
they did that on purpose. That was like a bait and switch. You know, they bait you in and then they switch it up on you. Oh,
Cause
$30 for the remaster.
look how long we've been waiting for this game. We've been
Yeah.
waiting for this game since 2017. Like, bro, 8 years?
And all they showed us was a logo, bro. They just You mean to tell me that this game had an 8 year and then dude, they went into the development hell too, bro, because they had to scratch it, Retro Studios or something. They had some of the people from Halo trying to
Ban-
do it, and then they scratched it.
Bandai Namco started with it, and Nintendo was like, "No, this ain't working. Y'all need to, we need to get y'all out of here." And then the Retro Studios was like, "Why don't you let us develop it?" And then Nintendo was like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, maybe we should."
See,
And
that's
they
just
basically was like, "All right,
before you announce
know?
the game, you should get the studio in a stable development cycle first. That's
Yeah,
what you should do. That's what you should do. Don't show no logos or nothing. Don't talk about it or nothing until you get your studios in order.
hmm
You know?
yeah." And a lot of these companies, they just want to get they're so excited to get the information out there to get people on the bandwagon to please, you know, um, um, investors and everything. You know, they want to get that press and everything. So by announcing the game now, it's bringing up hype, and they just worry about it on the back end. Like, okay, we'll figure it out on the back end. We get people, excited and everything, and we just worry about delivering later.
Yeah,
But
that's just that
that
just
always that tend to bite you in the butt in the long run.
right. And that's that it does because I mean Cyberpunk did the same thing. They got everybody all excited talking about this game and how big and vast the world was gonna be, and then didn't show no gameplays. Didn't show nothing for the longest time. Then they were so crunched and so hard to release this game, they released it in the worst way possible. You know? And so it just don't work like that unless the game is ready and stable and you got an actual legit trailer that you can show. Then don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I understand y'all want to build hype, but building hype and then when the product come out, it's flat. They say, "Oh, we're gonna order you the new BMW," and then when they pull off the semi truck, all the tires flat. It's like, well, you could have waited till you put the air in the tires, first at least. You know?
And that reminds me of Silk Song too, because a lot of people been waiting for Silk Song, Hollow Knight to come out, and we barely heard anything from those developers. They just kept every once in a while they kept saying, "Oh, it's coming," and that's it.
Hmm.
So I think that's the way to move. It's like if the game isn't ready, just stay in the back and just let it cook.
Yeah.
Just get it ready, so that once we do have it in our hands, it's a quality product, and we're not like,
Hmm.
man, like, disappointed and just, you know, I think that's the way they should move. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
so let's move on to the next topic. Um, Next up, we got news about uh the pre-orders being delayed in Canada.
Mm.
And so the pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 in Canada, it was supposed to start April 9th, but they were delayed the day before it
Mm.
was set to go live. So people are scrambling, they're trying to pre-order copies from other countries, from Japan and so forth. Man, I got something in my eye, man.
I'm gonna say, bro, your eyes going through it.
Yeah,
You-
like,
your eyes
man,
going
what's
through it,
happening,
bro.
man? Like, I don't know
Man.
what's going on, man. Lashes or something. Um, so yeah, that's unfortunate. It's pretty funny that these tariffs are just they're really throwing a monkey wrench in the tech industry, and
Hmm.
so but they still have the release date for June 5th. So
So pre-orders can't go live 3 days before the thing release. You know what I
it
mean?
might.
Like, I mean, at this rate, bro, like we're halfway through April. All we got is May. That's it. We got almost like what we got a little over 45 days
Hmm.
before this thing comes out.
But remember
You
what
know what I mean?
remember what Core Crystal said. It just may be a month before the release date, and next thing you know,
Yep.
everybody's pre-ordering.
Yeah.
I do have a report about the
Shout out to Core Crystal.
yeah, shout out. I do have a report about the shipments from Vietnam that Nintendo has been scrambling to work on. They started shipping out consoles way back in January, February, and they already have like dang near 1 million that's in the States right now. So if they go on that same trajectory of shipping and logistics and whatnot, they are set to sell probably 3 million on day one, and it
Yeah.
will sell out.
Yeah. It will.
If they manage to, because with the tariffs being paused, and now they have extra time to get these shipments overseas before those tariffs come into effect, and they have to bring those prices up. They want to get as much over here as possible so that people can get the suggested retail price and not be paying extra, for them not to be paying extra too.
And that's the thing about the US, bro. See, the other states like Japan and China and all of that, you know, the Asian culture, they're raised on discipline, okay? But the United States, they're not raised on discipline. They're raised on FOMO. They're raised on fear of missing out. If
Hmm.
I don't get this now, I don't care how broke I am. If I don't pre-order this now, I don't care. I'm just gonna get it. So
Hmm.
I know for sure down here it's gonna sell out no matter what.
Hmm.
I can't say the same for if my brothers in Japan, and in Asia, if they ain't got the cash, ain't got the yen, they'll wait, they'll hold it out. But down here, they're gonna put that junk on any credit card or anything they can to get that price,
Hmm.
to get that stuff locked in, bro, for real. So down here, you're gonna struggle to get that console. You're gonna struggle to get it.
Unfortunately, man. Get ready.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Next up on the topics, we got the Nintendo Switch 2 game key card. Oh my goodness, man. So I don't know how many times people probably read over this to get understanding of what this is. But let's see what Nintendo themselves says on their support page. It says Nintendo Switch 2 supports both regular game cards and game key cards. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card. Here's what the game key card packaging looks like. So this is what y'all want to look out for when y'all buying games, y'all. Like, if you see this, throw that boy on the wall instantly. Because what you're basically getting is you are getting a box for $80, $90. Well, it's been confirmed it's $80 physical. $80 for a hollow box with a key in it. Just like taking the key, sticking it into ignition, and starting your car. If you don't have that key, the car won't start. But it's worse than a key because that key is tied to your account. From what I'm hearing, it's only tied to your account. So there's a possibility that you cannot take this game, this physical copy of the game, sell it on eBay, and that person that buys it from you will actually be able to play that game on their account as if they bought it, as if they bought any other game from the past.
Say goodbye to this. That's
Dog?
disgusting.
What's that?
Physical games. You literally are going to buy a game.
I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna do.
Man.
You gonna buy a game? $80. $80.
Why you doing?
And look, you see that? $80, bro. $80 for some artwork. You can't do this to me. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
To download the
me,
game,
bro.
look, to download the game, an internet connection and enough free space in your Nintendo Switch 2 system memory or SD card express card are required. So, this portable system needs a key and another key, the internet.
Yeah.
You cannot. This system has to, at all times or at some point has to be connected to the internet. On top of not actually having the game native, you have to download that.
You're spending $80 for a piece of paper and some artwork. And when you get home, if you don't have the internet and you don't have a hotspot on your phone, you have no way to play the game.
Yep.
Do y'all understand that? Dude.
Look, if you
Do
don't
y'all
understand
that?
look, if you if you don't understand, this is how it works. Step 1, insert the game key card into your system. All right? Nice little red case goes into the system, right? Step 2, download the game. All right? The game itself isn't included on the game key card, so you'll have to download it before you can play. When you insert the game key card, further instructions will be displayed on the home menu. Please follow the instructions to download the game. Please note, to download the game, you must have enough free space in your Nintendo Switch system or micro SD express card.
Come on, bro.
The amount of free space required is indicated on the game key card packaging. Step 3, play the game. Don't forget to play the game, Shinzaki. Once the game is downloaded, you're ready to play. Look, an internet connection is only required when you launch the game for the first time. Really? After this, the game can be started even without an internet connection.
But they're failing to mention that the developer's going to put an update out for the game, so you might not be able to play it until you do the update.
Yep. However,
from their point of view, it's finished. But from the developer's point of view, it's not.
Yep. Like regular physical software, the game keycard must be inserted into the system in order to play the game. So yes, they're claiming that after the first install, the first time you launch the game, you need internet connection. Afterwards, you don't need it. This is some BS, bro.
Definitely.
Because you can't even do this. You can't even have this type of experience with the first Switch. The first Switch, if you haven't turned on your Switch or did anything to your Switch, and you just have the game card and you insert it in, the game will, the system will scream at you, telling you to update, telling you to connect to the internet, telling you that you have to verify your copy and all of this stuff.
And let's hope that you
maybe my experience is unique. Maybe most people haven't experienced that. But for me, I have my day one Switch, and I popped the card in. It's telling me I can't do anything unless I connect to the internet. And I'm not trying to connect to the internet.
Let's hope when it does update, you can change the screen and it still update instead of staring at that screen for 45 minutes until the update is done.
Yes. So, digital games especially, this will have some hiccups digitally especially. So I'm really curious to see if this is actually going to be true for the Switch 2 cards. So all right, next on the topic, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild, particularly Breath of the Wild, it was revealed that the DLC for Breath of the Wild won't be included with the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild. So for for anybody that don't know, when you get the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, what happens is that you get access to updated textures, updated frame rates, and performance, and that's pretty much it. You know, you have the HDR on the Switch 2 screen and whatnot, 4K on in the dock. But yeah, no DLC content for Breath of the Wild. And last time I checked, the DLC was at least, was it $25 or $30? It was one or the other.
Man, I personally wouldn't know, so that would be your you know.
I'm gonna say it's $30. So think about this. Oh my God. $70 minimum for the Breath of the Wild expansion, or the Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition. Then you gotta spend $30 on top of that for the DLC. That's $100 for this game that came out 8 years ago, bro. And what's crazy is that if you have the Switch online service, the Switch 2 edition of these games is free. It's free. But if you don't have that, you'll be paying for that out of pocket on top of paying for the DLC if you don't have it. Now, I wonder if, because I have the DLC for the original edition of Breath of the Wild. So I wonder, can you transfer the DLC that you've already bought to the Switch 2? That's something that we don't know yet.
That's something that needs to be clarified, because if they want you to buy the DLC all over again, that's a huge L, bro. This is becoming so accurate that the Switch is now a bait and switch console more than ever before. This is like the biggest bait and switch that Nintendo has ever done in their whole history of console making, because they switching it up so hard right now. This is the reason why it's called the Switch. So I mean, that's just terrible. I mean, that reminds me of, for like Destiny 2, if you have your Bungie account transfer data from the PS5 to the Xbox Series X or S to the PC, if you don't have the DLC bought on all three of those consoles, all your save information is going to go over, but you will not have Beyond Light. You will not have all of the expansions on that specific console. So when you buy it, you have to buy it on the console that you know you're going to play it on the most. And whatever, if you want to finish a campaign, you're just going to have to buy it on another console if you want to play it on Xbox and whatnot. So I bought all my expansions on PC, but when I was playing on the Series S at the time, I had none of that stuff. So I'm like, you want me to buy this 3 times? Are you serious right now? You want me to buy this 3 times, bro?
They serious.
Come on, bro. So if Nintendo is doing that, that's a flop. That is a huge flop.
Yep.
It's a flop.
So, y'all girt y'all loins if y'all don't already have this game. Open your wallets. All right. So next on the topic, we're gonna talk about a little bit of the controller. Now, this is something that I thought was pretty funny, because a lot of people were saying that the GameCube controller for the Switch 2 online service can't be used in any other game but the online service. In case anybody hasn't been noticing, all of these controllers for the online service, they all work for any other game. The problem comes with the compatibility of the controller itself, because these older controllers don't have all 16 buttons of a modern controller. So, it came out that this controller doesn't have the L3 and the R3 like clickies. Like you can't click in the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it right there. And then you have, only one shoulder bumper, which is the Z button. You don't have anything on the left side. So, or do you? I think they did update it. I think they did update it for the GameCube controller. So, yeah. So the only thing that it doesn't have is you can't click in the sticks. So Nintendo is basically covering their own tracks to get people to understand that, just so that nobody sue them, it's only compatible for the Switch Online service. They want that to be known so that people can't say, "Oh, I bought this controller and I'm trying to play Smash or I'm trying to play Silk Song or Hollow Knight or whatever, and all these other games, and it's not working. I want my money back." So,
Man, but here's the thing though, bro. If it has Bluetooth built into it and it has Type C on the back, it has to be able to work offline, bro. It has to be, bro. Because,
yeah, it'll work, but for certain games it wouldn't be compatible. That's the thing. Because you can't click in the left and right sticks. So you're gonna be missing some features when you playing a game. You're gonna get a hiccup, and you can't program those buttons unless you go deep into the settings of the Switch. If the Switch 2 has it, I'm pretty sure the Switch 2 may have it, where you can adjust the layout of what the macros of the buttons and whatnot. So
they gotta get this stuff clarified, man. They have to get this stuff figured out, bro.
A lot of information we don't know yet. It's just up in the air. We just guesstimating. And then misinformation is just being bounced off the walls. You don't know what to believe. So,
it's crazy, dude.
Yep. Speaking of buttons, the C button, the C button, man. So the C button is really funny because for the first year that the Switch 2 would be out, the game chat feature that Nintendo is offering for their gamers will be free. So you can hit the C button, you can chat with your friends, you can see them through that low pixelated camera, and you can have a good time, right? Nintendo knows that after a year goes by, people are going to be so acclimated to probably using this feature that they're gonna be like, now I gotta buy it, because I'm, I kind of like this feature, it's kind of convenient just being able to chat and this and that. I might as well just go ahead and just buy the service so I can get the service. But say you're like, man, skip that. I ain't gonna use that. You use it a few times and that was it. Well, imagine you playing Damien X Machina. And you're in the heat of a battle. You're in the heat of this hard boss. You're dodging. You're shooting out your missiles. You're doing your melees. You're doing all these different things. You get that last sliver of health, and right as you go for that last move, your palm slip. You hit that C button, and you get a huge wall of text. Talking about, hello, this feature is disabled. Here's where you can buy the Nintendo Switch Online service.
Oh, man.
Click here to purchase. And you just see in the background, you just getting clapped. Game over, bro. Bro. You cannot afford to be playing with these Joy-Cons or with this Pro Controller and mess around and hit that C button in the heat of things, man. That is gonna annoy the crap out of me, dog.
Yeah, and that, bro, you ain't never lied, bro. And you know what, man, that's some deep thinking, because when you're in the heat of the moment, you're going to be gripping that controller. You're going to be pressing it. You're going to be moving around, especially if we're talking about Titanic Scion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that needs to have like a initial press. It don't do anything, but a double press will bring up the chat. That's what it
Right.
needs.
Right.
Like if you double press it, then they know you want it. Or if you touch and hold it for a second or two, then it knows you want to bring it up. But if it's just a quick press and it comes up instantly, come on, bro.
Man.
That's just that needs to be that's a kink that's gonna have to be worked out. No, but I don't think nobody even talking about that, thought about that either.
I see
You
I
know.
see some modders making 3D printed editions of the right Joy-Con and literally covering over that button so
Wow.
that you cannot press it. They're gonna
Wow.
make custom shells, and they're gonna have that area where the C button is, and it's gonna be
Hmm.
completely covered so that you ain't even messing around with that button at all. It's just
Well, that
not
that
even
also
accessible.
reminds me of this. I'm gonna grab this real quick.
Cause that's probably what I would do is I would get a case that'll literally cover that button up.
Yeah, so check this out. That's just like this. So you can get these 3D printed for the Lenovo Legion Go device that covers up those side buttons so that as you're gripping the controller, you don't hit those side buttons. So you can play it and everything's just perfectly fine. So, and it covers up the back ones. This back one right here, it covers those up. So if they're doing this, that's great because this is the GOAT right now for not gripping those buttons. And it's funny you mentioned Damon X Machina because I'm playing that right now, trying to get get it done. I'm on mission like 33.
Okay.
So Titanic Scion come out, I already know what's up.
Okay.
So and those are the buttons that it's covering up so that you don't be gripping it and hitting those buttons. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep. So we shall see, man. This is gonna be a one cluster of a system when it come out, man.
There's a lot of like things like we mentioned, like that kinks that need to be worked out. Day one, these are things that are probably going to go over people's head, but as the system is out in the wild, and you got people like us who are really going to not look for things to scrutinize, but experience these real world things. It's going to be interesting to see how Nintendo responds and how they do their updates and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm gonna just read to you the press release here, this interview. Where's my mouse? Here it is. As it turns out, clicking the right Joy-Con's new button opens up the game chat service, so you can have a nader with your pals while you get to some online gaming. However, as some might expect, such a service requires you to have a Switch Online subscription. So, what happens if you click it without the active membership? Nothing too bad, it seems. That's what it seems.
right.
So, a recent interview with GameSpot, they tiptoed around the button's purpose for the NSO list while affirming that nothing too terrible will go down if you do happen to accidentally press it. Sorry, I can't get into the details of what exactly pops up or shows up when you press the button while you're not online, Dota told the outlet. But just rest assured nothing bad's going to happen. Perhaps it's just our love for disaster movies, but there's something about hearing nothing's bad going to happen that instantly makes us assume something bad could happen. Maybe for those without NSO, the C stands for combustion, chaos, or catastrophe.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, we just gonna have to wait and see what happens, man.
Wow.
All right. Next topic, getting toward the end. We already talked about that the Switch was being shipped out like crazy while there's still time. Nintendo has shipped over 1 million Switch 2 consoles from Vietnam to the U.S. The Switch 2 is priced at $449, and there's concerns that Donald Trump's tariffs could raise the price higher. A key assembler shipped over 750 million units from Vietnam to the U.S. in February. After a 90-day delay in Trump tariffs, U.S. gamers have hope that Switch 2 pre-orders will begin shortly. Starting in January, nearly all Vietnam-made consoles went to the U.S. So there you have it, bro.
Oh man.
they're here. So at any point they could fall off the back of a warehouse. You know what I mean? The back of a truck.
Well,
You know?
and it's just a matter of time before that one slips through the cracks, and here we have a Reddit post or a X post of,
Yep.
somebody showing the back of the console and everything. And I mean, come on now, like they're out in the wild. So the thing is, though, like, is this going to be something that you're going to be able to buy in the store? And if well, I mean, yeah, it is, but they're going to have like I picture Best Buy having like a wait list. You know what I mean? Where it's like you got cats waiting outside on the release day in a line or Black Friday tenting at Best Buy, so that when they actually come June the 5th, because we already heard that they're doing a midnight release.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have people Black Friday tenting outside of your electronic stores, Walmart, Best Buy, and the like, waiting so that when that console comes out, they're gonna get one. And I can tell you right now, there gonna be some shooters too. So it's gonna be some people on the roof, bro. For real, I'm talking about. It's gonna be cats on zip lines and everything, bro. For real. So I'm not gonna do it.
Not me.
So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not getting in day one, no way, because everything I want to play is coming out multi-plat. So
yeah, if I do get it day one, it'll be a miracle, cause yeah, I ain't waiting out there like that. You know what I mean?
Nah.
It's just gonna have to be. I walk in and you got any Switch 2s in stock? It's like, oh yeah, we got like about 4 or 5 of them. I'm like, all right, that's how it's gonna roll for me.
Yep. And I was surprised to get my PS5 when it was kind of hot. Back in 2021 when I got mine.
Yeah, see,
I was surprised that nobody got it off the truck.
Yeah, remember that Secure the 5?
Exactly, bro. Secure the 5. It's gonna be Secure the Switch for real.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
so that's crazy. I mean, I just really would like to see, because even Doug Bowser had to say, well, we'll see. Talking about some, will we meet the demand of the consoles? I know for a fact he know we're not gonna meet the demand. We're not gonna. If the U.S. just has 1 million out of the quote unquote 20 million that they have in production in the box ready to go, come on, bro. And I think that they liked, even the Xbox and PlayStation, they liked the scarcity of the PS5 and the Series X, because it helped people be in anticipation and on edge 24/7. I mean, come on now. We waited all night at GameStop for your nephew's 5. And that's out of the norm for us, big time. We don't do that stuff. So it's like, it's gonna be people, bro, waiting outside, camping on tents and on the rooftops and underground bunkers and tunnels to get to these places, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I know they're not gonna meet the demand of how many people want this console. They're not.
Yeah. And all that's gonna do is just raise up more hype. That's gonna raise up more FOMO, and that's what makes Nintendo be so such a hot commodity. Even when they're doing some tomfoolery like this.
Yep.
All right, last topic, and we're gonna wrap it up. Your favorite camera is out, Shinzaki.
Okay.
The Piranha Plant Switch 2 Hori camera.
God. Oh my.
Yes,
God.
sir. On some crispy 480p stuff.
They got a Piranha Plant branded camera for the Switch 2, bro.
Look at this boy, man. Look at it.
No wonder this is on the thumbnail, bro.
Yeah,
oh my
buddy.
God.
And guess what? When you turn the camera off, the mouth closed.
You got to be kidding me, bro.
Yes. Hori's Piranha Plant camera, which is officially licensed by Nintendo, is cheaper than the Nintendo's own $49 camera. It's also worth noting that you can use the Switch 2 camera accessory or any compatible USB Type-C or USB-C camera you like with the Switch. Both cameras are currently slated for release alongside the Switch on release.
Wow.
There is some unique functionality with the Piranha Plant. The part of the flying pin that houses the webcam can detach from the pot, letting you put it directly on top of the Switch 2. This gives it a portability Nintendo's own camera lacks. Meanwhile, you can close the plant's mouth to obscure the lens.
Wow.
Listen to the reactions of this camera. How do you how do you even make a 480p camera in 2025? That must be
Wow.
harder to do than a 1080p camera. That's actually hilarious. Maybe they meant to release this back when the Wii U came out.
I mean, for real.
Isn't 480p a crime nowadays? So yeah,
Bro, the
people are ragging
resolution,
on this, man.
the
People are
resolution
ragging.
is actually 480p.
It's actually 480p, my guy.
So you know what that makes me think, bro? I don't believe this Switch is as powerful as they say it is. I don't.
And I agree with you, and I'm gonna tell you why when you finish.
I don't believe that this Nintendo Switch is as powerful as they think that they're saying it is on paper, because for them to have such poor resolution and have such a simple design for how the camera just plugs in and it just blurs everything out and just automatically makes settings for you so that you don't have an excuse to say, well, why come I switch it to here and it slows down more, or I switch it to here and it gets more blurry or whatever. They already pre-did that for you so that you don't have to complain. Okay? Because if this console was actually as powerful as they say it is, it should be able to handle a 1080p visual at 30 frames per second, if
Yep.
not 60.
Yep.
And see, that's why all these little things are adding up to a greater issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in handheld mode, if you want to get that 120 frames, you have to put it at 1080p, if not 720p. It's like, okay, this is 2025, bro. I can hook up a 1080p webcam to the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck is quote unquote less powerful than the Nintendo Switch 2, and still get 60 frames per second. Still get 1080p visuals.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about this console that's more powerful than the Steam Deck has to limit to 480p in 2025. They don't want you to blow this up on your screen. They're expecting you to keep that little small head, you know. So come on, bro. Help me out, bro. Help me out. Help me out.
I'm not gonna help you out. I'm not helping you out, bro, because there was information that came out. I don't have it so I could pull it up, but there's information that came out where they said there's a reason why your chat is at 5 frames per second when you're chatting with your friends. It's because they wanted to not limit the performance of the game itself that you're playing. They want the game that you're playing to be at a solid, steady 120, 60 FPS, highest possible resolution. If they were to make it to where you can have that same resolution with your chat as well, the game performance will tank. It will tank because the system isn't powerful enough. It doesn't have enough RAM. It doesn't have enough graphical resources to where you can actually display everything at a fluid fidelity. So why are they using this feature if they know that you can't use this feature fully? If you can't use the feature fully, don't use it at all. Just forget about it. We didn't ask for this. Nintendo said, oh, this is what y'all need. This is what y'all want. No, we don't want that. We got Discord for that. We got other ways of chatting with people if we want. You know, we ain't trying to see anybody at this low resolution, low frame rate. I mean, yeah, I'm using a terrible camera right now, but, you know,
this is a next gen console. You ain't got a next gen camera.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is a $450 console.
Yeah, and this camera ain't $40.
Thank you. Come on, bro. Come on.
So it's like, man, like I just think that Nintendo thinks that everybody that goes to their platform are some just hightail idiots. They live under a rock. They have no idea about the outside world. They have no idea about other platforms, other gaming experiences. They just think that, oh, people just wait for Nintendo to do something, and oh, once they do something, oh man, this is revolutionary. Like dude, you're living in the vacuum of the past right now.
Yeah.
Like this is not gonna fly, man.
Well, and then the other side of it is it's got to be like the overarching thing of all this is that this could be what they put into the Switch 2 OLED. All these little things that they're doing that are goofy right now is reasons for you to buy the OLED.
Oh
Oh,
man.
now we have camera that does 1080p 60, and you can do the new webcam that we're releasing with it. Like they're stretching this out, bro, to the point where it doesn't make sense. Like, really, dude?
They
You're
stressed the
putting
first
us.
Switch.
Thank you. You're putting us back into the resolution of 2013, just so
Nah,
that you can have a resolution.
2004, bro.
Right, 2004, bro. You're putting us at the resolution just so that you can give us a higher resolution 3 to 4 years into the consoles. When did the Switch OLED come out? When did it come out? That was like 2020.
No, that was it 2021, 2022 maybe?
It might have been 2021 because
Wait. When did Dread come out? Because that came out day one with the Switch OLED.
Okay, we have to see because let me type it in because the Steam Deck was announced right after the Switch OLED was announced. Okay, that makes sense. So, yep, October 8th, 2021. Okay, so you mean to tell me 2021, so that's 2017, 18, 19, 20. So 4 years into the console's life, you're going to come out with an OLED, okay? And you're going to put these features in it 4 years. So we're talking 2026, 27, 28, 29, 2020, 2030, bro, a whole nother century before I can get 1080p 60 frames per second with a camera, bro. 2030, my guy.
Thank y'all for watching this episode of CoreXReplay podcast. Tune in next week.
Come on,
Hopefully
bro.
we will go live again and we will talk more about what's been happening this last few weeks. So we're looking forward to what's coming up next. Shinazaki, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Z-Trade Gaming. Shout out to the Core Crystal. We gonna get into it next week, y'all. And Shinazaki, where can they find you?
In 2030, my guy. You can find me on YouTube in 2030 when the Switch OLED comes out. Oh, man. Shinazaki, man. Y'all can find me at Shinazaki, host of the DNA the podcast. PC gamers, reunite. Put your hands in the air. So, come check out the channel.
Yes, sir.
It's been real, bro. So, we'll holler at y'all on the next one.
Joy-Con thighs.
Yep.